What up, everybody? This is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Hulu series The Handmaid's Tale Season 5. Wow, 5 seasons already. Now, if you notice, I am not in my usual format. I'm currently in Toronto, Canada, to cover TIFF 2022 this whole week till next week. A week and a half sort of a deal. So I'm in my hotel room. So there's no green screen, there's no graphic, as you can see in the background, there's my suitcase, messy suitcase, and my bed, and the AC. So, yeah, this is very unusual setting. And I'm not gonna do any jump cuts here. There's no editing here. I'm just gonna do like a one take, because I got lots to do today at TIFF. Lots of movies to screen, including that Weird Al movie. So yeah, I don't have time to edit. so so here's my first one take review ever, I should say. And if there's mistakes, if this is gonna ramble on till forever, you'll understand why. So let's get right to it. I want to say thank you to Hulu for granting me the first 8 episodes of this new season. It goes without saying that even though I will not be spilling spoilers here, this review is mainly for those of you, my fellow Handmaid's Tale fans, who already know what's up. Here's what I love about this show, okay? Handmaid's Tale always leaves me with my heart on the floor, and yet I couldn't look away. I just can't. There's something about it that's depressing and addictive all at once. And that goes the same for this new season 5. So that's why I still keep tuning in year after year. And you know what? I think the fact that Yvonne Strahovski still has not won an Emmy for her brilliant performance as Serena is atrocious. The fact that she's not yet an Emmy winner is an outrage to me. So hopefully she'll get one of these days. Now, overall though, what's my verdict of season 5? As you know, you remember what happened at the end of last season with Fred, and I believe the actor Joseph Fiennes himself was relieved. I read that he was like so happy, like, oh my god, I'm happy that I don't have to play this character anymore. I love this guy. I'm glad that I got this job. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but my character is so heinous and so evil, and Fred is evil and heinous, and I think there's a bit of a sigh, like, of relief on all of us, like when June finally got the jump on Fred, if you will, and end him. It's like, oh yes, finally he got what was coming to him. But here's the thing: the first few episodes of this new season 5. It's all about, the aftermath and the anguish that comes from the absence of Fred. Believe it or not, it's not that a lot of us are like wishing Fred would come back, but there's something about Fred, especially what Joseph Fiennes did with that character, that is so. It leaves a mark, like even June herself in this first few episodes of this new season 5. Without giving too much away, even she for like, oh my god, I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe the impact that he had on these women's lives. The pain and the suffering that he caused on them was so much that now that he's gone, it's like, oh, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that we don't have that boogeyman inflicting pain on us. So that's what the writers are exploring in these first few episodes of this new season. June, of course, is also conflicted because there's that feeling, but also the feeling of trauma. She's still going through PTSD, and I think the show does a fantastic job of exploring that aspect of June. There's so many moments where she's off a little bit, or she's going on a tangent, or she's like dazing, or it's like, wait, June, wake up! You're not here. Your eyes are open, but like, where are you? So she's dealing with PTSD still. But the absence of Fred is also felt by Serena, played by Ivan Terhovsky. Sorry, I keep getting messages here for some reason, reminding me of the screening that's at TIFF. So she felt it, and even though she feels it, and even though Serena is also a bad woman, like an evil woman. But the show has done a fantastic job these past few seasons of like kind of curbing that a little bit, making us kind of empathize with her a little bit. Now that she's pregnant, the miracle pregnancy, that's why she feels like, oh, even though Fred has been horrible to me, what am I gonna do now? Now that he's gone, and I'm carrying this baby by myself as a parent alone. So there's that also. Aspect of why, yes, they are relieved Fred is gone, but they're also like now feeling uncertain because Fred is gone. So it's very fascinating the way that dynamic, the way that complication is explored in these first few episodes is just fascinating. I think the writers did a good job. Of course, The Handmaid's Tale still has all of the elements that makes it a Handmaid's Tale show. The camera really focusing up close on the character's face, which is a testament to Elizabeth Moss as an actress, because not a lot of actors out there can feel that comfortable with the camera so close to their face. But Elizabeth Moss is so in the zone that doesn't bother her at all. Whatever anymore. Like, she's so good at just like releasing her or executing whatever her emotions that her character's supposed to be feeling at that given moment with that camera so just like focusing on her. It's a testament to her as an actress. We may feel differently, or we may disagree about her being Scientologist or whatnot, but that's neither here nor there, because when it comes down to it, Elizabeth Moss always delivers. Acting wise, she always nails it, man. And this season 5 is no different. It's just tour de force, I would say. It's just incredible, So, and her character June is filled with rage. Even after she's done with Fred, she's like, okay, now we gotta go after Serena. And that objective, that goal is not a straight shot, if you will. It's easier said than done. It kind of goes on. It's like an arc throughout this whole season, because it's not that easy. Because even though June wants to eliminate Serena's pregnant, and June's like, okay, she has a baby in her. Should I do that? Does my rage outweigh that? And also there are some other happenstances and other unexpected circumstances like kind of prevent her from doing so. It's a journey. Her wanting to kill Serena is a journey in this new season, and then it's one that is very riveting, for lack of a better word. Serena is interesting in this new season 5 because she has gotten, because she's pregnant with Fred's miracle baby, and so she now has it, like she now believes that she sort of has to respect Fred's legacy, despite Fred being a terrible guy, when he was alive. Now she's feeling, oh well, it's my baby daddy. Maybe I should, at least do this for his funeral and stuff like that. So, what's interesting about this arc of Serena in this new season is that she she's so naive. She wants to continue Fred's legacy. She wants to continue Gilead, but Gilead doesn't want her to be the flag bearer, the one who leads on that front, on that objective. It's such a indictment of conservatism and right wingism, because right wingers would say like, oh yeah, we're the one who treat women, see women as women, not as other gender, but they don't. It's just projection. When they say like, oh, liberals are like, oh, making the gender look terrible, with all this confusion, but they're the ones who are oppressive. So what I'm getting at is that if you're not understanding what I'm trying to say here, so basically Serena wants to reform Gilead, if you will, while continuing Fred's legacy, kind of like just around the edges. But even that is too much for the men of Gilead, the commanders, because they're like, who is this woman? Why is she, dictating the narrative? Like, woman, get in your place. You know what I'm saying? So they still have that mentality. And it's naive that Serena thinks that she can somehow just comes in, uses Fred's name on behalf of Fred, and she thinks that she can just reform Gilead. No, because the men of Gilead hate you. The commanders hate you. Don't you understand that? Serena reminds me of a lot of grifters, right-wing grifters and pundits like Dave Rubin on the internet, where he thinks like Dave Rubin specifically, because he's a gay man. He's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be a conservative. I'm gonna be a right-winger. And I'm gonna be, try to convince right wingers and conservatism, like, hey, come on, accept us, the gay marriage. Hey, am I not, your dancing monkey? Am I not your, Uncle Tom? Like, enough for my community? Come on now, come on. But no, you can't do that. You're not able to do that because they can't change their colors. They're just hateful. They're not gonna accept you as their equal. The same with Serena's situation here. Serena, you think you're just gonna try to reform, or continue Fred's legacy, but changing, tweak here and there? No, they're not gonna let you because they hate you. Because you're a woman. To them, you're not equal. So in what world do you think that you can convince them otherwise? And to go along with that, the writer's also trying to do that same arc with Aunt Lydia, Anne O'Dowd character. She's not fully seeing the light in season 5, but she is slowly, surely getting there, if you will. And she's thinking about reform as well. She's thinking about reform, like, you know what? How about we do this differently? Because she apparently Aunt Lydia has a soft spot for Esther, McKenna Grace's character, and so she's like, oh, how about we do things differently? How about I do this? Like, the men's like, no, no, we want our women to be beneath us. We want our kinks. We want to get our rocks off. So it's so naive that Aunt Lydia and Serena think that they could be the pallbearer. Pallbearer is a funeral. The flag bearer. See, this is what happens when you do things one take. And the one, holding the torch for the new horizons. Like, no, they're not gonna let you, because to them, you're not their equal. So which brings me around to my conclusion here. So that goes along to what I want to say here, because I think the reason why, because a lot of people wonder, The Handmaid's Tale, this show has gone on for too long? Should this show end? Because there's always this question of, if a show goes too long, the quality of the storytelling will diminish, right? And oftentimes that is the case. And who knows? Maybe after season 5. This is it. Maybe this is going to be the finale. Who knows? but I'm glad that they did not cancel after season 4 after Fred's death, because this is something that's really important to bring up, because it's relevant to our society, where and I'll end with this, where it might seem noble, it might seem ideal that you wanna try to reform some things that are unreformable. It's a good effort on your part, but and if you want to try, God bless, more power to you if you want to give it a shot. But some things are, like I said, unreformable. Some things can be tweaked or changed, or like can be converted, like can be inspired to change, and some things cannot. Some things are just so hell bent on one way of thinking, one way of seeing things, that they're not gonna sway or alter for anybody or anything. And that goes to what and that compels us to have to pick sides. We have to choose sides between oppression, between fascism, between authoritarian and freedom and inequality. There's no gray area there. That's black and white. Like, you're either or. You're either for fascism or against fascism. You're either for authoritarian or against authoritarian. There's no gray. It's like, oh, let's discuss it. No. So, let's try to change it from the inside. No, because they don't want to be changed. And in this world today, like that's why Handmaid's Tale continuing is a good thing, because it seems like in America, at the very least, it's starting to turn into Handmaid's Tale. I don't want to get too political, but all the decisions that have come out recently, as of recent, from the government and the higher places against women specifically. I have 2 little sisters. I have a mom. Like, I don't want them to feel this way whenever they come to America. I was like, wow. They'll be like, I thought this was supposed to be the land of the free. And so a lot of people right now are really trying to shove religion, shove their own ideology down our throats and everybody's throats. And so that's why The Handmaid's Tale is, even though you may think like, oh, the best season is already behind this show. The best season was the first and the second season, when they were being persecuted, when they're being forced or raped or being forced to carry birth. And yeah, though those seasons were compelling. Those seasons were hard to watch, but they were compelling. And you might say like, oh, these seasons 4 and 5 are just all about revenge. And that's true, but hey, I'm a big fan of revenge stories, as you know. And that's a valid point. If you say that maybe the quality of storytelling has not been the same, that's a fair point. That's a fair point to say. But I would argue that the fact that it continues, it's a good thing, because now it's like life imitating art, or art imitating life, however you want to put it. Because you see the world today, I was like, oh my God, it's like a semi Handmaid's Tale. And we got to push back on that. Just like June is pushing back. But the fact is that we don't do it with violence. We don't do it with violence. June is doing it with violence. That's why June is to me is not necessarily a hero. She's more of an anti-hero. She's like Frank Castle or the Punisher, because she doesn't do it. She doesn't push back by protest or rhetorically or by politically or casting votes and stuff like that. But then again, it's understandable, because in the world of June Osborne, those systems are not there for the likes of her. You know what I'm saying? Those systems are there against her. But that's a fictional world, of course. But yeah, so it's like life imitating art imitating life. So it's very relevant. The themes are very relevant. Yes, it may have continued on too long. Who knows? Maybe the show should end this season or by the end of next season. I would not be against that at all. But the cultural themes impact that this show has had and continues to have is remarkable in my book. And season 5 more so more so than ever. I think I think it's interesting that it's amusing that The Handmaid's Tale season 5 will also premiere tonight. The first couple of episodes at the Toronto Film Festival, because the story is set a bit in Canada, and there's a lot of Toronto police involved in the show, or especially in season 5. So yeah, I think this is one of the best shows ever made in the history of television. It's bold, it's daring, it's brazen, it's unafraid to deal with the uncomfortable questions and situations that we may not want to think about, even though it's happening in our lives. So season 5 is still as gripping as ever. All right, that's how I want to end this. We can argue about which seasons are still which seasons are better than the other. We can argue whether or not season 5 is the best one or not, but it's still gripping. It still has me glued to the screen, and it's like, oh my God, the power that the season 5 has to generate empathy in me is immense. It's immense. I cannot describe it any better than that. So that's it. That's my spoiler-free review of The Handmaid's Tale season 5, right here from my hotel room in Toronto. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. And as always, subscribe. Let's rock this.